Do you like Urban Legend? Would you like to see how it looks with a little bit less Scream influence? Hey, freaks and friends, at the request of Zodiac, we are going to be taking a look at an anthology film from the 90s. That is going to be Campfire Tales. And I think this film is just a little bit overlooked, after having only recently saw it. Please be sure to stab that subscribe button and slash that bell icon so you don't miss out on a single video coming out on this channel. Try to make the best stuff for you guys, and that's the best way to stay in tune with what's going on here. Back to the video. Campfire Tales was directed by David Semmel, Martin Kunert, and Matt Cooper, and the film stars James Marsden, Amy Smart, Ron Livingston, Christine Taylor, Glenn Quinn, and Jacinda Barrett, among a few other people. So as said in the intro, guys, Campfire Tales is an anthology film. This one has a wraparound story that is a group of friends on their way back from a concert. They crash their car in the woods, and in order to keep warm, they build a fire while they're waiting for help, and pass the time, they decide to share some urban legends with one another. So we get a couple of different stories told throughout this film. We actually open the film with the Hook urban legend, which we've all heard, and a lot of us are probably tired of hearing it. It's one that doesn't really affect me anymore, but I can't deny the impact that this one had the first time you hear it. So I think that's kind of a good thing that they open the film with this and just sort of get it out of the way, because, you know, you can't have a movie about urban legends without mentioning the Hook at least damn once, you know? But you have the whole idea of the couple out in the woods, and you hear the scraping on top of the car. That urban legend is utilized pretty well here in a segment called The Honeymoon. I actually enjoyed that one. It had a pretty good sense of atmosphere there. There was that, of course, some great tension. I think the performance by Ron Livingston was pretty cool, the guy from Office Space. And I think the woman who played his wife, I forget that actress's name off the top of my head, I think she did pretty good in her role. A real good-looking lady, but that whole sequence I thought was pretty cool. Pretty solid. This one was probably the most standard and stock of the bunch there, only second to the Hook. But I definitely thought it was a pretty cool twist on you hear something scraping on top of the vehicle. Just the way they pay that off is just fucking sickly handled here. The visual presentation of the husband, because we all know how this story ends. The guy is mutilated, hanging from a tree. Usually it's his feet or something scraping the top of the car. In this case, it's an RV and it's his fucking wedding band scraping the top. I actually felt sort of her emotional impact there, so I thought it was pretty well acted. Of course, you have the crazy guy telling them to stay away. That felt a little okay, but it helped kind of sell the idea they were doing with this plot. So I thought that the honeymoon was a pretty solid sequence here. The second big sequence that we get in this film is going to be called People Can Lick 2. And that one doesn't have really any notable cast members. You got the older daughter, she kind of looks like Nicole Kidman in Practical Magic, like a dollar store version of her, but a little more front-loaded. So that was fun to see there. But it involves a young girl that, like, I think if I remember correctly, it was the day before her 12th birthday. She's basically going to be left at the house by herself. Her parents are going to a parent-teacher conference and then dinner afterwards. The older sister, who looks like the Practical Magic Nicole Kidman, is going out with her friend. The young girl is just going to be left on her own, and she's corresponding with this person on the web, like an old internet chat room. And turns out it's not a girl like her own age. It's this fucking sick old dude. This, I think, just created an awful sense of tension right off the bat. I think that the guy who played this, the Predator character, I think he could have probably played more characters like this. I was looking at his back catalog, and it was like a bunch of movies that I've never heard of, but he has that look to him where it's like, oh yeah, this guy could probably play some real sick fucks there. But I mean, you play one role like that, you're kind of branded with that. But I don't know, the whole tension when you know he's in the backyard and beginning to make his way into the house, and you don't know where this is going right off the bat. I don't know, dude, it just fucking had me pretty unsettled. And the way this one ends, if you like dogs, you might not like this one all that much. The dog in here was a good boy, but he was a terrible watchdog, terrible protector dog. But the payoff on this one was gross as shit. I don't know if payoff's even the right fucking word here. Our final segment that we get in this is going to be called The Locket. That basically involves a guy who's driving his bike cross country, comes across this old farmhouse. His bike just happens to take a shit out in front of there. He goes inside and comes across this non-speaking girl, and there's just something about her that they kind of click right away. But one thing that he notices about the girl throughout, she's got this little, I guess we'd call it a choker now, but it's a locket in this, but it's a damn choker. It's just a real tight little strap around her neck, and you do have the little locket pendant right there. Anytime he kind of puts his hands around it, she's like, no, don't. And you don't really think anything of it at first. Unless you heard the story The Green Ribbon. That's what this one reminded me of, was the story The Green Ribbon, which basically plays out the same. And all is well, kind of learns a little bit about her. Her dad's a cowboy of sorts. He's just out and about, I think shepherding the herd or something like that. And, you know, it's a good night, peaceful, nothing really eventful, until the dad comes home. We hear the screaming, bloody murder going on downstairs. And upon going to check it out, the guy started to notice that there's a little bit of a time loop going on there where the events keep cycling. And you see the guy coming in, grabbing the axe, bloody mess, throwing a decapitated head into a well, and just the repetition of this. You definitely wouldn't want to take like 5 hits of acid when you watch this one, because it'll fucking throw your senses off, I'm sure. The two end up getting away from the situation. The girl claims that it is ghosts. So they wake up under a tree the next morning. Storm's gone. And, you know, the girl's laying in his lap. And what does he do? He takes off the little locket, opens it up, and inside is a picture of him and her. If you piece that together with the whole events going on there, you'll find out that that little time loop they were in, it's a little more important than fucking it sounds like. But where it reminds me of The Green Ribbon was the fact that once it comes off, so does her fucking head. The effect on that was absolutely silly looking as shit. It's just like a little bit of blood coming out here, and it looks like they just had a fake head with hair on it, and they just pushed off a little fucking broomstick with fake shoulders. But this movie was only made for $2 million, so you can't really fucking fault them too hard on that. But the locket is, I think, probably the most heavy-hitting, had the most interesting plot, I think. I wouldn't mind seeing a full movie sort of based off of that story. They were all pretty strong segments there. But to come back to our wraparound story, our group of teens who are telling each other these stories, there is a certain little revelation going on there that I really don't want to spoil that, because that, I think, will sort of affect sort of how you feel going into this film. But the payoff that we get with this group of kids who are telling these stories, all I'm going to say is I feel like I was robbed, because I had a story that I was working on once, and I shit you not, I had this fucking idea for a twist. Of course, this movie came first before that story I was working on, but I had this whole idea for a twist. And I feel like these sons of bitches robbed me 20 years before I was working on that. What can you do? But the way this film ends, I think, really has it packed an emotional punch. Not really emotional, but it definitely made me feel something, and it reminded me of this sort of out-of-body experience that I had one time that was just too much to go into in this video. But the way this movie ends, dude. It's worth watching just to see the payoff, honestly. And of course, the the Locket segment. Taking a look at things though, like the acting in this film, I think it was pretty serviceable throughout. It wasn't any spectacular over-the-top performances. I think most of the people did pretty good in their respective roles. Of course, James Marsden and Amy Smart, they were pretty good in the opening there. I said even already that Ron Livingston was pretty good. We get the good Masterson brother in here. Always knew him as Francis from fucking Malcolm in the Middle. And we have the Marsha Brady looking girl from Night of the Demons too. It was nice to see her in here. And I was thinking, no, that can't be her. That can't be her. Turns out it was, so that was pretty nice. But I think that everyone played their characters pretty good. And, you know, the acting was just well enough. Nothing special. But it wasn't bad enough to where it's going to pull you out of the film and make you feel like you're watching a movie. And sort of the outdoor atmosphere of, like, the whole feeling of the woods in the wraparound story, which is just titled The Campfire, I thought was pretty good. I mean, because you really feel like you are out in the woods at points in the film. Of course, we don't really stick with that too much. But it is that wraparound segment where there are points where you're feeling, okay, guys, come on, pace this part a little bit faster. Let's get to some more of what we came here for. The Campfire Tales, damn it. But when we're in the tales, oh my god, this movie is worth watching for sure. As far as recommendation goes, I would totally say you should check this one out. The copy I procured was not the cheapest, but I liked it enough to where I feel like it was worth every damn penny that I spent on it. I don't want to say how much I spent on it, but damn it, it was worth it. But Campfire Tales, if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. If it's available on Amazon Prime, you should definitely look for it. See if maybe it's here on YouTube. I'm not sure where it's streaming at. If you can get a physical copy, though, dude, it's one you're going to want. But really the best thing about this film is the storytelling. At points the pacing is a little wonky, but the stories themselves and the visual presentation of each segment, I think just makes it worthwhile. Again, there are some pacing issues throughout each segment, particularly the wraparound story, but again, most of the delivery spots hit just right, and you're kind of left walking away with a pretty solid experience, a pretty memorable one if you ask me there. At the end of the day, I would probably be giving Campfire Tales 3.5 urban legends without the scream filling out of 5. So that was a look at Campfire Tales, guys. This was a first time watch for me. I did have to watch it a couple times because, again, the pacing did slog at points. But again, this film is definitely worth the watch. Definitely check it out if you can. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to play with the icons down there. Do what you do. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this film. Have you seen it? Do you want to see it? Tried to leave it as spoiler-free as possible because this is one that you kind of have to watch yourself to really get that full punch out of it. In the meantime, I'm going to go watch some more movies. You guys do what you do. Stay safe, stay filthy. I'll see you guys next time.